Hi everybody, and thank you for joining me today. Today we will be looking at a simple topic, stroke. Now, it's a very touching topic for me because I can remember my paternal grandmother, who was responsible for much of my nurturing in my formative years. She suffered many strokes and she eventually died from complications from one of them. So it is not an easy topic for me, but back then I was ignorant of what a stroke is, and today I'm hoping to impart some knowledge to you. Now, a stroke simply is just that having a section of the brain blocked off from oxygen. As a result, the brain will suffer and eventually die. Now, a scenario was given recently at a seminar that I had that there was a barbecue and a woman was there. She stumbled, she fell, and she assured everyone that she was fine. They offered to call the paramedics and all that, but she, said that she just tripped over a brick because her shoes were new and she had not yet gotten used to it. However, they got her cleaned up and they got her a new plate of food. While she prepared to eat the food, they noticed that she was a bit shaken up. Now, her husband, they were all there together. They enjoyed themselves for that evening. However, later that very same evening, the husband had to take his wife to the hospital. And believe it or not, that very same night, she passed away. What had happened was that she had suffered a stroke at the barbecue. And this is one of the things that I believe that knowledge cannot be too much. Because had they known how to identify the signs of a stroke, perhaps that lady would not have died when she did. See, a neurologist said to me recently that, he could get a stroke victim within 3 hours from that stroke to the time he has seen that person and reverse the effects of that stroke totally. Now, he said that the trick to this is having a stroke, 1, recognized, 2, diagnosed, and then getting that patient medically cared for within the first 3 hours, which is very tough. Now, how is it that we recognize a stroke? Sometimes the symptoms of a stroke can be very difficult to identify. Unfortunately, the lack of awareness would usually spell disaster, obviously. So when people nearby fail to recognize the symptoms of a stroke, then that stroke victim may suffer severe brain damage. Some of these people, they don't die. Instead, they end up in helpless and hopeless situations. So how is it that we are able to identify a stroke? Now, doctors say that a bystander can recognize a stroke by asking 3 simple questions, and you must remember the first 3 letters of the word stroke, STR. The first thing that we should do is we should ask, that person to smile. Now, asking that person to smile, you will notice some things, because a person who has suffered a stroke, their face is going to be a little bit drooped. So asking them to smile, you'll realize that the face is a little bit lopsided. You could also ask that person, that was the S for smile, T is for talk or speak. Ask that person to repeat a simple sentence coherently. For example, chicken soup. The person who has suffered a stroke would not be able to navigate and maneuver the language as efficiently as someone who has not suffered a stroke. And then the third one, R. Ask that person to raise both arms. If you have suffered a stroke, meaning that it has affected the brain, one side of the brain is going to be lopsided, which means that asking that person to raise both arms, one of those arms are going to sag. So that's another easy way for anyone to recognize that someone has a stroke. Now, if he or she has trouble with any one of those following tasks, you should call an emergency number immediately and describe the symptoms to the dispatcher. Now, before I give you a bonus tip, I want to tell you a little bit that I'm hoping that you like the content that I have been providing, and I'm hoping that you would help me to continue to provide more content. I'm going to ask that you please subscribe to the channel, please give a like to the video, please share it with other persons who may need this sort of knowledge. And you could follow me on these social links on Instagram, on Twitter, and my Facebook business page. I have it up on the screen. Please do that. Now, the bonus tip is asking that person to stick their tongue out. Yes, now this is a bonus sign of a stroke. You ask that person to stick their tongue out. If the tongue is crooked, and if you look at the picture that is on the screen right now, on the left side you'll see the tongue looks smooth, but on the right side the tongue looks crooked. If that tongue looks crooked, and if it goes to one side or to the other, this is an indication of a stroke. So let us please, especially those around us who are not as adept to moving as we are, I'm hoping that we would pay more close attention to these individuals, mostly our elderly, and if we notice any of these signs, that we get them the desired help as quickly as we possibly can, so we could probably save some lives. This is D.I. Rasai Freckleton, and I'm thanking you for joining me on DI's Info Desk, and I'm looking forward to see you in another video. God bless you.